r/NoSleep. Posted by you/CallMeStarr. Santa and Satan are the same person. He still hates me. I've been prancing around the house all morning, marching up and down the stairs, checking every mirror in the place, hoping that alas, I'd return to normal. But no, every time I check, I look like Santa Claus. Strangely enough, I don't look much different than before. Except now I'm old. My rusty hair and beard have turned ghost white, and I can't see without these glasses, which have suddenly appeared on my face. This really sucks, let me tell you. I've already lost my wife, my job, and yada yada yada. Now this? Here's another problem, one I learned the hard way, when my soon-to-be ex-wife called. Every time I speak, I sound like Santa Claus. Of course, I realized this inconvenient truth the hard way. "Merry Christmas," I blurted out, the moment I picked up the phone. I shoved my hand over my mouth in surprise. "Cute," she said. Her tone could cut through a block of ice. "Listen here, Nick. You know why I'm calling. I need you to email me those papers. Do it now." "Well, bless my buttons. That's a whopper of a request," I said, white-knuckling my phone. I sounded jolly, but I wanted to scream bloody murder. As she talked, something strange came over me, something terrifying. Are you even listening to me? I wasn't. The fact was, my newly acquired Santa powers were kicking in. Without warning, I'd learned something dreadful. She'd been unfaithful to me the entire 12 years we'd been together. That business trip she went on a few years back, hoping to rise to the top of her firm. She'd actually sneaked off to Hawaii with my buddy Paul. There was more, but I didn't want to know. My stomach was turning in all the wrong directions. I needed to sit my big butt down on the couch, fast. These were facts I didn't need to know. Yet, as furious and heartbroken as I was, out of my mouth tumbled, "You've been a naughty girl, haven't you? Ho ho ho. You asshole." She hung up. What in the blind reindeer was going on? Maybe I've gone bonkers. Stress can do that to a person. Especially at this time of year. No, that wasn't it. Deep down, I knew this was for real. I sighed. A trip to the liquor store was in order. I walked. The town of Pickle Lake was lying under a mountain of snow. Fortunately for me, I stayed plenty warm in my newly acquired Santa gear. This was a bonus, seeing as my regular clothes no longer fit me. I trekked along King Street with my head down, scanning the area, looking for the homeless man, or whoever the hell he was, but to no avail. Part of me was relieved. I mean, what would I say to the guy? Should I try making a deal with him? No. Making a deal with the devil sounds like something only a blues singer should do. As I was standing at King and John, same spot I met that crazy kook, cars began honking at me, one after another. Children and dogs were sticking out the window, wind smacking their wildly stretched faces. Ho ho ho. Merry Christmas, I shouted automatically, secretly hated them all. This was really grating on me. I'd be lucky not to have a nervous breakdown by the end of the day. Or worse. The moment the light changed, I picked up the pace. Then everything changed for the worse. A woman wrapped in extra warm clothes was struggling to get into car. In her arms rested a plethora of neatly wrapped presents, big and small. She was parked at the back of the strip mall lot, close to the exit, just up ahead. The woman was glaring at me. Her eyes like blue blazes. In that moment, I saw her secrets. Let me tell you folks, she had plenty. Her eyes dashed away in a flash. She found her keys, unlocked her car door, hopped inside, then sped off. Panic kicked me in the groin. I surveyed the scene, hoping she wouldn't circle back. She didn't. I sighed. That woman was on the naughty list. In fact, she was as naughty as they come. That woman murdered her husband, Frank, in cold blood. Using his very own meat cleaver, no less. I saw this clearly in my mind's eye. Then she spent all weekend chopping him up into little pieces, then stashed him in her walk-in freezer. I wiped the freshly fallen tears with my beard. Then, I wobbled my way through the strip mall's cheerless parking lot, wondering what to do with this newfound knowledge. That woman belongs behind bars. That's for certain. Like, now. But I couldn't go to the police, could I? Dressed like Santa? What would I say, exactly? There was a commotion up ahead. Some kid was throwing a hissy fit. His mother was trying her darndest to calm the boy down, but was having no effect on him. They were bickering back and forth, something about ice cream. As they approached their SUV, it bleeped and unlocked and the kid finally stopped pouting. My Santa powers kicked in. Yesterday, for no apparent reason, That kid went total berserk on his mother, stabbing her in the leg with a plastic fork. His poor mother cried all day. Tonight, he plans on hurting her some more. With the plastic knife this time. The boy looked up at me, then stuck out his tongue. "Look, Ma," he said. "It's Santa." "Ho ho ho," I said, grudgingly, and loped away. As I approached the strip mall, struggling with a mind full of razor blades, I spotted the homeless man. There he was, Mr. Satan Claus himself, in the flesh. He was standing by the curb, leaning on a post next to a no-smoking sign, with a cigar dangling from his ruby lips. His hefty red hat was on the sidewalk, stuffed with bills and loose change. "Nicky boy, how wonderful to see you, again. You look marvelous." His smile was wide and toothy. Without warning, I attacked him. Unfortunately, I tripped over the curb, falling smack down on my face, mashing my nose and 2 front teeth in the process. For a moment, I laid there, wishing I would shrivel up and die. Then some unearthly force slapped me to my feet. I wiped my bloody nose on my beard, then frowned. Satan laughed. "Well done, bro. Well done." He seemed different today. More energetic. And cleaner. He was up to something. I could tell. He's not to be trusted under any circumstance, I reminded myself. No one dressed like Santa should be. What he said next made my skin crawl. Now, he sniggered. "Don't get all huffy-puffy on me. We made a deal, remember?" I bit down on my tongue. "You're going to do something for me, Nicky boy," he said with a sneer. "It's almost Christmas Eve. That's Santa's busiest day of the year, you know. It'll be your busiest day, too. After I'm through with you," he laughed, while his belly jiggled with glee. "And what if I say no?" "You will do as I say, Nicky boy. No turning back now." 2 separate families were approaching, each going in opposite directions. Both families wanted to have their picture taken with Santa. Both Santas, apparently. "Ho! Ho! Ho!" Both Santas roared. Our eyes met briefly and told a different story. The 2 families organized, each preparing to take the other's picture. One of the mothers said, "So, this is where the pictures with Santa are happening this year. I just knew Santa wouldn't let us down again. Not 2 years in a row," she said this playfully, and all the children hurrahed. Her family, it would appear, was on the good list. But seeing how I don't like having my picture taken, even in the best of times, I wanted none of this. Maybe going to the mall dressed as Santa Claus wasn't a great idea after all, but it's only place in town that sells booze. The 2 families went their separate ways. I was now ready to engage with Satan, to really let him have it, when he exhaled a plume of stinky gray smoke in my face. "Don't worry, Nicky boy," he said. "You'll do fine on Christmas Eve. Being Santa is easy. You'll figure it out in no time, I promise." He paused. "That is, if you don't lose your marbles in the process." "Now you wait a minute, whoever, or whatever, you are," I said, digging my nails in my palms. "Just because you know things, doesn't mean—" "And watch out for them planes," he interrupted. "They won't hurt you, but they'll freak you the fuck out." "Yeah, but—" "Shut up," he snapped. "I'm a busy man. Being Satan isn't all pitchforks and devil horns and dastardly deeds, you know. I've got places to be. Things to do. People to see." He glanced at his watch. "Why look, it's getting late. I can't keep Mrs. Claus waiting any longer, can I?" He winked, exhaled a cloud of smoke in my eyes, then began sorting through his loot. Just as I was about to ask him one of the million questions flooding into my brain, he dazzled his finger, sprinkling a line of magic dust through the air, then poof. He was gone. Just like that. Vanished. I stood there, dumbfounded, holding back a waterfall of tears. I was one sad Santa. At that very moment, a young woman came rushing over. She handed me a 20. I took the money and stuffed it deep into my coat pocket. Then I sauntered into the strip mall and spent it on booze. Home at last. I've closed the drapes and locked the doors. I've even turned off my phone. There's no need for it. I don't care anymore. We've all got skeletons in the closet, I suppose. But some are worse than others. I actually have sympathy for the devil now. At least while he's Santa. You'd have to be evil to be Santa Claus. Knowing everybody's darkest secrets. It's enough to drive anyone stark raving mad. Except him. The homeless man. Satan Claus, if you will. He enjoys it. He feeds off their miserly. He gets off on cleaver-cutting, cold-blooded, husband-murdering psychos. But I don't. I twisted the cap off my bottle of Jim Beam, poured it into a glass filled with ice, then plopped myself onto the couch. I needed time to reflect. My life was ruined. Even Mr. Crinkles wouldn't go near me. He keeps hissing and clawing and making strange sounds every time I come near. I tried watching a movie, but I had to shut it off. Turns out, those actors are at the very top of the naughty list. I won't disclose their dirty laundry, you wouldn't believe me anyway, but jumping jelly beans. I drank. At long last, I tried watching It's a Wonderful Life. Something told me old Jimmy Stewart wouldn't let me down. He didn't. That bought me a couple hours of much needed relief. It didn't last long. Something was coming over me. A strange feeling. A subtle voice telling me what needed to be done. I had a destiny to fulfill. Promises to keep. Eventually, I drifted off to sleep. All the while, sugar plum fairies and devil horns danced my brain, reminding me that Christmas Eve was just around the corner. Then what?